What's up guys, SkyKevin here, and today we're going over the life staff for New World. We're going to go into each of the skills, its abilities, and fighting styles associated with the weapon. So, let's get started. The Life Staff is the quintessential support weapon of New World, and so far the staple to any team to have proper healing. The heals themselves are very useful for both PvE and PvP, and require attribute points put into focus to determine the amount of healing. The issue with this weapon is that it really doesn't have a designated offhand weapon for you to use, since focus is in its own category. You can pretty much use anything else, and you'll end up having to spec points into it anyways to make that other weapon useful. For that reason, whatever you're choosing is really going to need to be an offhand that you can basically use just for the skills, such as the movement of a rapier, the crowd control of the ice gauntlet, or the movement and crowd control of the great axe. Either way, it's got a good ranged auto attack, some solid group AoE heals, and a few buffs to tie it all together. To start with the mastery tree, we have healing and protector. Divine Embrace is a single target heal that can proc onto nearby allies if the main target you heal is under half HP. Sacred Ground places an AoE healing over time circle on the ground that doubles stamina and mana regeneration while increasing healing done on them by 50%. Splash of Light heals yourself and all group members within 100 meters of you while removing one debuff. If you heal any target below 50% HP, you gain 3% of your mana pool back. Orb of Protection deals damage when it hits an enemy, heals any nearby allies within 3 meters, and gives them a 15% damage reduction buff. If it hits an ally, it'll heal them over time and give you the same buffs. Light's Embrace heals a target based on how many buffs they currently have on, gives them 25% stamina, gives you max mana based on how many buffs they have on, and extends all other buffs by 2 seconds. Beacon shoots a bolt that deals damage to an enemy and attaches to them to heal any allies around that enemy, and gives them a 20% haste for 3 seconds while being healed by the circle. The ultimate, Divine Blessing, passively increases your healing power by 30% when healing an ally below 50% HP. The other ability, Magnify, is part of Light's Embrace, extending the buffs that I mentioned earlier. For passives, you have 10% cooldown reduction when an ally has less than 50% health, increase the max HP of all group members by 10%, light and heavy attacks no longer take mana, heavy attacks remove a debuff when passing through an ally, light attacks heal while passing through an ally. When hitting a light attack, reduce your cooldowns by 5%. When you're hit in battle, activate a healing aura 4 meters around you with a 120 second cooldown. Heavy attacks give you 10% increased healing, which can go up to 3 stacks. After you dodge, heal for 20% more. If you have a buff, heal for 10% more. Increased mana regeneration for you and group members by 3%. When you block a melee attack, gain 5% mana. Light and heavy attacks give 15% damage reduction buffs, 10% haste while hit when below 50% HP, and finally, buffs that you grant are 20% longer. Most all healers that I've seen so far focus on using the AoE skills of the healer to really maximize their potential. Some of the spot heals really fall short in their overall effectiveness, especially when you look at how it scales with your actual weapon power. Don't get me wrong, something like the Splash of Light is a great use for when you're in the middle of a 50v50 battle and you want to keep everyone topped off. But in most circumstances, when you're in small scale open world PvP, I would think the AoE ground abilities or buffs, which give a constant sustained level of healing, will have a much higher level of effect. You can also use Divine Embrace for any major savior level heals if your team is starting to get low, if you can manage the active aiming system. It's really up to personal preference whether you want to be more buff heavy and go light on the healing, or rather full heal sustainability and forget about the extra beneficial effects that you can bring to the table. Personally, I like a mix of the two, as long as you're able to aim the shots properly and your team is willing to stand in your AoEs in order to stay alive. If you're going to be using the Life Staff, let me know what kind of builds you're planning to use in the comments down below. I make sure I answer all the questions and read through all the comments. I'm always making more videos like this one on New World and other MMOs, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.